Where did you get that from?
None of your business. And don't beg me when I buy fan ice.
Are you boys ready?
Yes, Daddy.
Akinola Davies Jr, My Father's Shadow, great movie we saw here in International Film Festival. First of all, I would like to ask you about the history of the film, because it's a movie about two children
Yes.
who reconnects with their father.
Yes.
It's a very touching movie, but it's about a historical episode
Yes.
in Nigeria's life.
Completely.
So, and I know it's semi-autobiographical.
Correct,
So
yes.
please tell me about the project and the story.
Sure. So I'll give you a bit of context for the film. Nigeria got its independence in 1960, and we were democratic for a while, and then there was a coup d'etat. So we've had 8 coup d'etats, 5 successful, 3 unsuccessful, and basically very authoritarian, brutal military, loads of censorship, no dissent, history is not taught in school. So in the early 90s, there was a move to a democratic election, and in 93 was supposed to be that election. We had this politician called MKO Abiola, who everybody loved all around the country. He was a Muslim, very rich, various businesses, philanthropy, and people knew he was going to win the election because everyone wanted to vote for him. But on the day that the film set, June 12, 1993, the military cancelled the election result, and kind of it was our reintroduction to democracy. So loads of people have a very tense relationship with democracy in Nigeria still to this day. We thought that day was really important because Abiola represented this idea of a father of the nation, someone who was going to lead us into a more hopeful future. And I think with the film, with the boys, they represent an idea of these two boys wanting to have the promise of growing up with their father and learning from their father and learning how to shave and learning how to be a man with their father, but they never really experienced it. But in what they did experience was his absence. So they tried to understand why he was absent, and that's how our film sort of takes place. The more pragmatic history of how it came together is my brother wrote a short script in 2012, and he sent it to me, and with no context, I read it and I broke down and cried, and
I imagine.
yeah, because I lost my father when I was 20 months and my brother was 3 years old. So the only memory we share is one we put at the beginning of the film where he's playing with the children on the bed in the opening sequence. Mm-hmm. So I never, everyone had always told me about my father. I'm also named after him. His name's Akinola as well.
Oh, yes.
So everyone had always told me he's charismatic, he was a good guy, like this and this. But when I read the script, I met a big character who was very vulnerable, very insecure, very unsure of himself. And I'd never thought of my father as this. So this is what affected my emotions when I read it.
Open your mind
Completely.
about your father.
Completely. I mean, I'm not fortunate enough to have children yet, but my brother, during the process of making this film, he became a father. Mm-hmm. So I can't think from the perspective of a father if I've never been one. But when my brother presented this, I was like, wow, okay, I never thought of all the sacrifices someone has to make against the things maybe they want to do to provide for their children or provide for their family or provide for their spouse. And I think we also have in the zeitgeist, whether in Nigeria or maybe Brazil or the rest of the world, this idea of the absent black father or the absent father in general. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we allow the stereotype to take over because it's an easy projection. But I think what we wanted to do in this film was give it some nuance and try and explain that, you know, this idea of providing for family, you have to go and work. And sometimes work takes you far away, you know, and being far away means that the money you make there is more valuable and you can spend more where you are. So it was just trying to create a story that honors the working class man and how sometimes those choices are difficult and they don't seem so straightforward. But yeah, that's kind of the history of the film.
And about the history, because Brazil recently won an Oscar with
Yes,
I'm Still Here.
Yes, correct.
It tells the story of the dictatorship here in Brazil.
Oh, wow,
And it's
okay,
very
yes.
important
Yes.
to us to know this story.
Sure.
So I imagine for the Nigerian public to see this movie is very important too, because some
Completely.
people never even thought about it or don't know the history. And here in us from Brazil,
Yeah.
don't know the Nigerian history.
Completely.
We know this is not taught in school.
Completely. Absolutely fantastic. Even Nigerians don't know their history because under the military dictatorship, history also wasn't taught in school. So we premiered the film first in Nigeria on the 19th of September, and I was optimistic of what the response would be. But we have two types of responses, all positive. But from the younger generation, it's an introduction to their history that they never knew. I call it like a family heirloom, like your father gives you something.
Yes.
I call it like the film is an heirloom, family heirloom to Nigerians, because young people, they learn an aspect of their history and it's something for them to hold on to. And what happens is they go home and ask their parents about this day. And their parents come and watch the film and then they see an aspect of their history being immortalized in a film. Something that they went through that they weren't allowed to speak about, that they never spoke about. Because I don't know if it's the same in Brazil, but our parents' generation and their parents' generation, they didn't speak about these awful things that happened, right? So the older generation watch our film and they see themselves in it. They see their history in it. They feel it's a sense of catharsis because they never got to experience this communally. And the younger generations learn about what their parents went through. So we end up having, probably similar to I'm Still Here, this generational conversation, which is super important in a country that's experienced dictatorship and censorship and now you have a film art, effectively cinema, that's bridging the gap of history, of education, of managing trauma and helping people work through trauma, and it's such a gift. It's not something I anticipated when I made the film, but the response has been extremely magical and overwhelming.
And has history, but has poetry in the movie as well.
Thank you for
So it has some otherworldly, quality of the movie. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
But when the father appears in the house, and I tend not to read the synopsis beforehand.
Sure, good.
I like to go to the movies and understand what the movie is.
Sure.
On the screen.
Sure.
So the kids see their father, and it's like a ghost to them.
Sure.
They don't believe he's there.
Sure, yeah.
And I guess, wow, the father must be very absent.
Sure.
So, and we learn in the movie what happened.
Sure.
And it's very touching because that's the perfect day for the three of them.
Completely.
And it's not soft. It's not candy-like.
Completely.
They fight, they struggle, but they bond.
Yes, completely.
It's a very touching movie because of that. I guess. Talk about this otherworldly aspect, not spoiling anything.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think when we were writing the film, we thought of it being not necessarily a linear story. Obviously, you're writing three characters and you're trying to stay in the perspective of kids. You have an opportunity to be quite playful because using kids as a platform to tell a story, you're allowed to focus on the ants, the animals, the insects, the curiosity that children have, right? And then they're curious about going into Lagos for the first time. And I think a lot of the tapestry when their father appears is also leaning on sort of like magical realism, supernatural drama in a way, but it's very permissible from children, because I think children also have this, they have invisible friends and they have all these kind of things. So I think children being a catalyst to tell a story is like really, really wonderful. And I think for me it's a special place to be because also you're allowed to explore different emotions in that, because they're children, small things seem like a big thing. Like
the ice cream scene is
exactly. It seems like a massive scene and like a big argument, but at the same time they come back together and they bond, And I really love what you said about it. It's a perfect day, but obviously it's not perfect day, in many instances. And I think that's a reflection of life. We really spoke about even like the bar scene at the end where you see this woman at the end. We really debated putting this in because my brother was like, I don't want people to feel the character is bad or sleeps around or something. And I was like, well,
He's human.
he's human. Exactly that. I feel like we need to, if we're telling a story, a nuanced story, we need it to feel human. And those aspects of humanity are things that people can relate to. People can't relate to perfectness, because it doesn't exist. But people can relate to a human exchange, a human emotion. If you're saying this is a popular guy, someone might hit on him and he might hit on someone. Yeah, they don't have a perfect day because that's what it is to be human. Everything isn't perfect, everything isn't flawless. And I think no matter the circumstances on that day, it's something that they had together. You can't take away from them, And that's what memory does, especially this idea of memory during grief. It's hard to trust, it's hard to remember. We have a couple of sayings in the film that the things that hurt you when you experience loss in the future are the same things that are going to comfort you, So actually, memory, grief, like all those things have a very wonderful dance together, and it might hurt you in the short term, but you feel comfort in the bottom. But it's imperfect for sure.
I have to talk about Sope.
Yes, please.
He's amazing. And
It's so amazing.
And I saw him in Slow Horses.
Yes.
And I thought he was amazing. And then I was watching your movie, and I know this guy from somewhere, but I don't know because there's no open credit, so I didn't see his name.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, Hollywood must get this guy.
Yeah.
Hollywood must get, and well, they already know him.
They're already fishing around.
Yes, and he was amazing, and the kids as well.
Yes.
But the trio.
Yes.
So please talk about the casting.
Yes, please. I think I think I can't give enough praise to Chopin because I think he's such a masterful artist. I think I didn't really realize how much I was asking him to do. I thought just come and act, and as an actor, maybe he'll come, go to his trailer. But Chopin really was a father to the boys on camera and off camera.
Oh.
He was mentoring them. He was working through scenes and dialogue with them. Alongside acting coaches, we got them as well because it's their first film as brothers. They're real brothers. But Chopin, when I met him, other than the fact I've seen him in Slow Horses, I've seen him in Gangs of London, I've seen him in His House, I've seen him in a play called One Night in Miami. You never really know the type of character of a person you're going to get. But the first time I met him, I was like, this is someone I would love to spend 6 to 8 weeks with, as a human, because he's such an empath. He's really considered in his responses and how he feels and how he approaches everyone. And the way he was with the boys and the other local actors and the crew. He's such a dream to bring to Nigeria because he's of Nigerian heritage, but he didn't grow up there. So there's also a lot of insecurity on his part from speaking the language and speaking the Creole or the pidgin that we speak. But he really threw himself in. He also is an exec on the film, so he was really invested in the process, and I can't thank him enough. And as for the boys, I think it's just a testament to how wonderful children are if they're trusted and given a sense of responsibility and allowed to be themselves. Because, that's really what they were like. Marvelous, the older brother, super focused. He wants to learn. He wants to know everything. He wants to know how to be a better actor, And Godwin is just full of charm, full of character. He's so funny. He's very nonchalant. That's the gift of being a younger brother, and having your older brother there. Similar to me, like my older brother doing the writing, I feel very protected. I feel like I can really express myself.
I'm the older brother.
Yeah.
So when the father tells him, you're the older brother, you have to protect your brother.
Yeah.
You have each other's backs.
Completely.
You
felt it.
I felt it. Completely, yes.
Yeah, man. And I think, my brother, he really idolized our father, even though we never knew him, and I was more a mother's boy. And I think when writing those characters, we were like, okay, we need to put that in. We need to find that balance, because I think older siblings always have a sense of responsibility. They didn't ask for it, but they have it because they have younger siblings, you know. And younger siblings, we don't have any responsibility. We're so lucky that we have older siblings who sort of take care of us, and we don't have the worries in the world that the sibling has. And I think even in there, we try to tease some of that out with the brothers and how they look at the world, and how the younger one wants to ask a question about everything, and the older one's like, we don't do that. We don't look at people who are suffering. We don't, all these kind of things. And yeah, man, it's such a gift of a film to make in so many ways, because it really allowed us to pull as much of our lives into the film, as much of our experiences into the film, really to something to honor our younger selves and our country and our families, and hold masculinity accountable. Yeah, it was just all these ideas were things we were looking at for sure.
And it's your first feature film.
Yes, so many of us. My cinematographer's first, my first, the boys' first, the person who made the score's first film, the production designer's first film. Yeah, so many of us, basically.
Man, congratulations on the movie.
Thank you so much.
Really loved it. It's a powerful film. And here in Brazil is A Sombra do Meu Pai. It's my father's shadow in English, but we highly 2 thumbs up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Obrigado.
Thank you.
Man, thank you so much, man.
you
You're
so
a
much.
legend. I really appreciate
Thank you.
you, man.